Omnipresent. Kyle, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for having us. Come on. Just wrapping up our trip, 3 days. And the big takeaway here is I never travel any place just to see one person. So when you sales guys are out there traveling, you need to then try and find 1 or 2 or 3 other people to see. The commodity manager of Electrolux wanted me to text her. That was her preferred method of contact. She was getting 200 emails a day. She said, just text me. This was 5 years ago. I'm like, okay. Literally could get her every time.
What's up, guys? Kyle Milan here with Manufacturing Tribe TV. Today we're at MD&M Minneapolis show.
You're always going to remember that person that was different than everybody else. So it's taught standing out and being unique.
We're back with another episode. We've increased some of our production value, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. Brett's got a question. How segmented do you make the emails every 2 to 4 weeks? Are you sending to the broad group of contacts or do you customize? I think that you could do it both ways, but I think in general, everybody needs to see your content. Everybody needs to see something that you're creating and something that you can provide value to.
You can tell a story a whole lot faster in a 3-minute video than you can in a 14-page article or 10 2-page articles.
Everything's about brand awareness and content right now, and it will continue to be that. So focus on producing some sort of content, and if you're selling B2B, which I'm assuming most people here are, focus on LinkedIn.
Number one, we do not charge for this stuff. I put all of my content out there for free. Send it to somebody that you feel may get some value out of it, and also engage. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. We'll get to all of the comments after the break. Those comments mean the world to us because it shows that you guys care. So don't just sit there and watch, but please engage and hit those thumbs on LinkedIn. What is up, guys? It is Friday, January 21st, and we are back with another episode. This is the episode that we missed on Monday. So this is about industrial marketing. And so if you guys are in industrial marketing, you've been struggling with what is your strategy for paid advertising? Does it actually work in my industry and for my company? Then on this episode, I'm going to break down the traditional and common ways that people have been doing it and where you should focus your attention. So as always, guys, we appreciate you joining live with these events and all these shows that we do twice a week. As I always say, if you guys could share this out and share it with people you know, like on LinkedIn, engage, leave comments, because once we get to that section of the show, we'll go through all the comments. And like I always say, they definitely mean the world to us because it means that you're getting some value out of it. Even if you don't have any questions and you just want to leave a comment saying that you got value, that helps us out too. So let's jump right into it. What is the purpose of paid advertising, right? What's the main purpose? For you marketers out there, you may think like, oh, it's so that way, you know, we can get to the top of things, so we can get more traffic, so we can get more leads, things like that. But if you break it down, the main purpose of advertising is simply speed. Okay, so you simply want to do something faster. So you're doing things, they're not working as well as you'd hope that they'd work. They're not moving quick enough. So you're like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to throw some dollars at it. I'm going to run some paid ads and get that traffic in as fast as possible, which is great. And I 100% agree with you. Paid advertising, the focus behind it is the speed. But let's look at like the common methods that people have been doing paid advertising in industrial. The first one's going to be trade shows. So you've spent, what do you got, 10 by 10 booth or 100 by 100 booth? You spent $5,000 to $100,000 to go to a trade show, right? So that's a form of paid advertising. But really what I want to look at is once you say I'm going to this trade show, then the trade show is going to be like, dude, you guys need to advertise with us. You need a front page ad. You need a full page ad in the show program. You need pre-show marketing campaigns. We want to put you at the bottom of our email list and our distribution and banners outside and all that stuff. But does it actually work? And in my experience, in the last 6 years of owning MFG Tribe, the industrial marketing agency, and even before that, when I was directly in your guys' shoes doing what you do, I've never really seen it work all that well. Now, do trade shows work? Yes, to a certain degree, right? If you're really bullish against trade shows and you really monitor exactly dollar for dollar that you've spent, can you say it was worth it? A lot of times, yes. if you're doing 1 or 2 trade shows, but people are doing 6, 8, 10 trade shows, it's usually not worth it. But the trade show aside, where the trade show wants to make money is they got you on the booth and they got you at the show. Where they want to make their money is on that additional things. So it's like the upsell opportunities. When people get a show program, what do they typically do with it? Are they flipping through the show program saying, "Oh, who do I want to visit at this show? Who's at the show?" No, they're not. They've already got their plan. They know who they're going to see if there's somebody specific. They know who's going to be there. They've gotten emails ahead of time. They've looked at the exhibitor list. They know where people are. They look at the map. And that's pretty much all that people are interested in when they're going to a trade shows. And then they walk the show. They're not flipping through programs. Even when they go and grab a bite to eat, they're not flipping through the show program saying, "Oh, look at this nice full page ad that company probably spent $3,500 on to be in the show program. I'm going to go and visit them because I had no idea who they are, what they do, but now they've piqued my interest and I want to go and visit them." That usually does not happen. It's a complete, in my opinion, waste of money to spend money on that from a paid advertising standpoint. So like I said, do trade shows work? Yes, to a certain degree. They're coming back now that the major COVID, waves are over and trade shows are opening back up. But like, if you're going to spend the money on a trade show and it's like 10, 15, $20,000, do not fall for, "I want a show program and I want to be in the show program and do print campaigns or banners outside, digital banners, things like that." It's not going to do anything. Most people don't even pay attention to that stuff. And you can ask the trade show people, "Can you quantify the results I'm going to get? So can you tell me how many people actually looked at my ad?" And the answer is no. Anything on print, they cannot physically tell you how many people saw it. They could say, "Oh, well, we're going to do this digital stuff for you, and we can tell how many people looked at it," but you don't know the quality of those people. So you got to be very reserved. Now, when you are going to a trade show, the area to spend the money on is going to be the list of attendees and going after specific people and saying, "I want to purchase this list from you of 2,000 people, 1,000 people, 500 people. I want to purchase a list of their contact name, title, where they work at, what's their email address, and phone number if possible." And then usually they say, "What are they interested in at this trade show?" And then check those boxes. You want to pay for something like that. And that will be a lot cheaper than going after a show program ad spot. So the next common thing that we're going to look at is media purchasing. So media from the standpoint, traditional industrial marketing, manufacturing marketing guys, when I talk about media, they're talking about magazines. Okay. Same thing with the trade show programs. You cannot quantify. I don't care if ABC Machining Publication says we've got 75,000 engineers that subscribe to our physical print magazine every single month or quarter, or how often they print it. But can they quantify that and say, "You just spent $10,000 to have an ad space, or $5,000 to have an ad space on that print magazine"? Can they tell you how many people actually look at it? They can't. They can say that it went out to this many people. This is how many people received it. This is how many people are on our list, but they can't tell you how many people looked at your stuff. Then they go digital, right? So a lot of these media typical companies, the magazines, stuff like that, are like, "No, we have a digital version now, so we can tell you." Yeah, but can they tell you who it was? They can't. They can tell you, "Oh, well, we think it's this person from this company. They clicked an email," or something like that. But they all they can say is maybe if they saw what it was that you were in that magazine. But are they tracking that to your website? Are they tracking clicks? Are you then looking at, these people came from this referral source to my website, and then once they hit my website, they looked at this many pages, spent this much time on their site? Usually not. Usually you guys aren't looking at it, and usually the publication company is not providing you with that. It's just all fluffy numbers and big KPIs of like, "We're going to send it to 75,000 people." And then unfortunately, the industrial companies sit there and like, "Oh my God, my stuff got seen by 65,000 people," which is just not true. So that's another common area. So we got trade shows and we got media publications. The last one is going to be Google. Okay. Google advertising. So you've got search, Google search, and then you've got display. Display is like retargeting and images that show up in ad space on other websites that you visit. And Google search can be very beneficial. That is probably the only area that I would say that most companies spend money on advertising. When they first talk to us from a discovery call, they're like, "Hey, we spend $2,500, $5,500 a month on Google ads." I'd say that most of the time that's a smart place to be, but usually their budget is way overkill. And that's simply because they are they're taking the advice of the advertising company. A lot of times agencies charge a flat fee to manage it, and it's based on a certain dollar range that they spend a month. So if you're spending between $1,000 to $5,000 a month on advertising, most of the time, um, those advertising agencies are like, all right, we're going to charge you $750 a month or $1,000 a month to create, manage, and optimize those ads and report on them. And then they want you to spend more money, because the more money that you spend, the more dollars they can charge you to manage it. Whereas here at MFG Tribe, we're the exact opposite. What you have to understand about Google Ads is not a linear curve in regards to the dollars that you spend and the performance that you get. It is a bell curve. So it goes up, it peaks, and it comes down. The key part of optimization is finding where at the top of that bell curve is the best place where you're spending the least amount of dollar and getting the most amount of results, right? And so what we do when we take on a new client, we typically drop the budget down significantly, sometimes 50%, and then creep back up to find that bell curve. And usually it's 20, 30, 40% cheaper than what they were paying a month with their other agency, because at the end of the day, we don't want to spend dollars if you don't have to. And so Google Ads and display and retargeting marketing can work for advertising dollars, but for most companies in the, let's say, 20 million to 200, 300 million a year in revenue, are typically spending less than, I'd say, $5,000 a month on Google Ads. And that's a good kind of top budget to have. I would much rather tell a company to go into Google Ads than focus on trade shows or print publications. So those are the three most common that I see. You guys may be saying like, oh, what about social? Well, we'll get to social. The next thing that I want to talk about is focusing on the organic side. So paid advertising is to take time out of the equation and just go with speed. If you're not currently organically ranking for a search phrase, if you're at page 10 or page 100 or page 3 of Google and you want to show up first because you want those people that are searching to hit you first, and then you're going to spend money on Google Ads. And I totally agree with that to a certain extent. You want to also at the same time, don't just say, I'm going to spend money on ads so I don't spend money on organic. You want to focus as much, if not more, attention on organic side of optimizing your on-page SEO, focusing on off-page SEO, focusing on making sure that your themes and keywords and phrases that you're going after are a good fit, and then tracking and monitoring that on a weekly, daily, monthly basis is the important part, because that's a long-term play. If you want to go after a keyword that has somewhat difficult, let's say medium difficultiness to rank high for, you want to start today to get the results in 30, 60, 90 days from now. In this industry, there's not 50,000 people searching a month for what it is that you do, for the most part, unless you're in like 3D printing and 3D type space, there's higher search volumes. But for the most part, you're looking at less than a couple of thousand searches a month. So you've got a lot of people going after that. But most people aren't paying attention to it. They're like, I'm not going to focus on organic. I'm just going to do paid ads. But you got to focus on organic, if not as much, then more, to get that ball rolling. We've got tons of videos on the YouTube channel talking about how to optimize for on-page SEO. What are the most important things to look at? Those are great resources. Go over to my channel and check those out to dive deeper into the SEO side. So what is the strategic campaign that I would personally recommend? So I would say first and foremost, you have to be focusing on organic. And guys, just a reminder, leave your comments and questions and things like that in the comment box so that way we can get to them once we're done with this segment and answer anything you guys have, whether it's industrial marketing, sales, technical sales, business, whatever. So the first thing you're going to look at is you want to focus on the organic side with your on-page SEO and focus on the organic reach. And organic doesn't just mean Google. Organic also means on social, LinkedIn, posting 5 days a week on your company page, teaching your employees how to build out and grow their network, and pushing the brand out there as much as possible, because all that is free. Now, if you're paying an agency like MFG Tribe to do it for you, it's obviously not free, but it's minimal when it comes to compared to the amount of money that you can waste on advertising. So if the base foundation fundamentals are we're already doing organic, we're already pushing organic SEO and organic on social, then you're going to want to spend some money on Google from a search standpoint. And what I would do is I would start with like $700 to maybe $1,000 and be extremely strategic and bullish against any sort of broad phrase match and broad keyword match. You want to only focus on a very strategic, targeted group of people. You want to have things in place with geography restrictions. You do not, the thing with Google search is you don't know the intent behind why the person is searching. So if you don't know why they're searching, you may think, oh, they're searching, a machine shop near me because they want to hire a machine shop near me. They're not. They could be doing research. They could be doing competitive stuff. They could be looking to sell you something. There's a million different reasons why somebody could be Google searching something, and you don't want to just pigeonhole yourself and say, I know that they're searching for my business, so I want to show up for that all the time. Because most of the time, the money that you waste on Google search campaigns is far exceeds the money that you're actually spending that's bringing in quality resources. So you want to do a strategic campaign. Like I said, I'd say no more than $1,000. You can even start with like $200, $300, and be very specific on the phrases and the searches. And then also pause those things on weekends. So you're not, you may think, oh, so many people are doing weekend searches. I would pause those to start with until you can prove it with data to say that the people coming in on the weekend are actually quality things. And so once you start that campaign, you need to look at your Google Analytics, which is tied to your website. And as long as your Google Ads campaign is tied to your Google Analytics account and it's linked, then you can see I spent this much money, this many people clicked it, they came to my website, what percentage of people bounced? Because a lot of times it's like 95%, 92%, 98% of people bounce, which means they came to your website and then left right away. That's just a complete waste of money then. So you want to focus on high quality traffic. You want it below 90%. You want it below 80%. You want to have the click-through rate and the conversion rate over 2, 3, 4, 5%, because that means that you're getting the right people. And then you want to talk to your sales team and say, guys, are you getting, like, I've seen these leads come through. You talk to them, these good quality leads. Yes, they are, or no, they're not. And then adjust and adapt. So you can definitely do Google search. Retargeting is cheap. Retargeting is basically taking traffic that comes to your site. Once they leave your site, you set up criteria saying they've seen these many pages or they've spent this much time on my website. Then when they go to other websites, they're going to see this graphic of ours or this display ad that says like ABC company, best in the world in this, or a logo of your company with a link to your website. They're going to see that on the Google search display partner network. And no matter where they go on the internet, there's always spots for ads, and they will see that. And that's basically just trying to remind them, hey, you were here. Don't forget about us. So it's good to have some sort of retargeting campaign in place. But something like that, you're talking about, unless you have thousands of hits a month to your website, which a lot of you may have, you're talking about maybe a couple $100 a month spent on Google search, or Google display retargeting. So not a huge amount of dollars spent to it. So it's fine to turn it on and see how it works and then turn it back off. The next area is going to be looking at things on social. I've talked about this on so many of our LinkedIn episodes. LinkedIn advertising, specifically the display advertising that shows up when you're sitting on your phone or on your desktop and you're scrolling through your feed, every like, it starts with the second post, and then it's like every 7 to 9 posts from there is a promoted post, and it's a display ad. Those things work extremely well because you can control who they go to. So Google search, you don't know the intent behind the people. On LinkedIn, they're not searching for you. You're just showing something that's relevant to entice them to click. LinkedIn advertising is better than Google from that standpoint, because you can control the creative, you can control where they go to, and you can also control who sees it. Whereas on Google, you're just basically saying, I want to send them to this page on my website because it's relevant, and here's a search phrase. And if somebody searches it and they click it, then they should be, looking to go to that. And a lot of times they're not. They just click back right away. So with LinkedIn, you can target even specific companies, 100 companies, 150 companies, only certain people within those companies. You can get extremely detailed in your search list of who you want to market this to. And because of that, it is expensive. Okay. So something that you're spending 40 cents or $2 or $3, $5 on per click on Google search, you can be spending $6, $8, $12 on LinkedIn, depending on who you're going after and where you want to show up in their feed. If you know that people aren't spending 20 minutes scrolling through their feed on LinkedIn, then you want to show up near the top. And I've got videos on my YouTube channel talking about LinkedIn advertising in depth and how to optimize it and how to go after those people. So definitely check those out. But you want to obviously stay at the top as people are searching and coming through. And a lot of times people are like, I'm just going to spend $3 a click, $4 a click. Well, you're way at the bottom. They'd have to scroll for like 5 minutes to see your ad. It's just not worth it. Now, you only get paid if they click, which is good. It's not if they just see it. You only get paid if they click. But that is the most strategic and targeted way to say, these people at these companies with this job function in this geographic region, when they come on LinkedIn, they're going to see this ad. You can't beat it. We manage multiple campaigns for our clients now. They do perform the best, but they are the most expensive. So on LinkedIn campaigns, you're going to be looking at spending a minimum of $1,500 to $2,000 a month just to get your feet wet and get started, and then optimize it from there. Spend maybe $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month could be good for you if you're selling a high dollar product or a high dollar service. But that's really where, in my opinion, the most strategic PPC campaigns are going to be focusing on Google strategically and specifically, and then also or in place of doing things on LinkedIn with the display promoted things, not the text on the side. In-mails do work. We do in-mail campaigns for some of our clients. They do work. They're cheaper than a lot of systems out there because you're looking at like $1 to maybe $1.20 per send. But if you can only focus on Google and LinkedIn, that's going to be the best bet. If you don't have a team to do it for you, reach out to us at MFG Tribe. Go to our website. You can chat with Greta and we can set up a discovery call. If you're like, I'm already on Google, but I don't understand LinkedIn, we can get you set up with it very quickly, very easily, and manage your campaigns and do all the creative behind it. So that's it for the bulk of this content. So recapping it up, we're talking about just advertising for manufacturing companies, focusing away from the common ways of trade shows, publications, and just doing blind Google searches. Really be strategic. Focus on your organic search and your organic stuff on social. And then if you are going to go into a specific campaign, then Google search at a minimum dollar amount, starting off with less than 1,000, and possibly if you have a higher budget than that, looking at some LinkedIn advertising campaigns. Those are going to be the best methods for you to go forward into 2022. So we're going to take a quick break and come back to see if there's any comments out there. Please leave your comments below and we'll answer them right after this short break. Dream job for a sales engineer, I break it down into two main areas: opportunity and support. I mean, some people want to have the entire country or entire region under their belt to be able to travel and do all that stuff. Whereas other people, if they've got family and kids and they don't want to travel as much, then maybe the opportunity for them is working remote, not going into the office every day. And the second thing is going to be support. One of the most golden handcuffs for anybody in technical sales, they get brought in as a hunter. So they're hired like, I need you to hunt for business. I want you to grow my company, grow my region, whatever it is, right? They land the new business, they bring it in. And because you don't have the support team in place, you have now just put on the golden handcuffs onto a salesperson, which is you did your job, you're getting paid for that job. But now I need you to actually handle that, which is going to take you away from hunting for more business. I would say the best CRM for you to use would be HubSpot. And I'm not saying that because we are a partner with them. I'm saying that because I've used almost every single type of CRM out there. What it comes down to at the end of the day is, what are your people actually going to use? You can have the best CRM system, but if they don't use it, it doesn't matter. I mean, HubSpot's cheap. You can get into it for $50 a month. And it does everything you need it to do for $50 a month. You don't have to go to the marketing professional at $800 or $850 a month. I think too often industrial companies are using Salesforce. And like I've said in other episodes, Salesforce is more of an enterprise solution. It's not something that's great for like 5 people, but HubSpot's the easiest to use, easiest to integrate, and it can grow with you as you grow. For sales, working with estimating, yes. If you're just getting started, if you have a small company, I could see you doing all that. The line I wouldn't want to have to cross is doing the sales, doing the estimating, and then also creating whatever it is. When I started this agency 6 years ago, I was literally doing everything. I didn't have my first employee or help for probably 6 to 9 months. So I was building a web, doing all the sales, running the business, doing all the project management. I did it all myself. And so eventually start getting people under you to take pieces of your responsibility off of your plate so you can look at bigger picture. That's usually the way to grow and scale a company. So I would say if your company is small, yes, that is normal. But I would want to try and make sure that there's a plan in place with the ownership or the bosses to make sure that that's not the long-term path that you're going to go down. So it's Friday and you guys are not engaging. And that's all right, because this is kind of what we expect. So we go into it expecting that there aren't going to be any comments. And a lot of times people catch the show 30, 40, 45 minutes in or miss it completely. And that's all right. But I hope that you got some value out of this when it comes to advertising. This is something that we see all the time. All new companies that talk to us, one of the first questions that we ask in a discovery call is, are you spending money on advertising? A lot of times they don't offer it up. We had a client or a potential customer last week not even mention it until we got into the second call. And I was like, are you guys doing any advertising? They're like, yeah, we're actually spending like $2,500 a month on Google ads. And I was like, Jesus, that's a lot if you're not getting a ton in return for it. And so this is an area that a lot of times when you've been doing it for so long, right? It's just the industrial and manufacturing marketing way of doing it. It's like we've been doing trade shows for so long. We've been doing Google ads for so long. This stuff works. It doesn't work like it used to, and you're afraid to change it because you don't know where to go. And so in this episode, I told you exactly what to do. Don't focus on that trade show stuff. Focus on strategic Google ad campaigns. Pick an agency like ours at MFG Tribe, or pick anybody that is not going to focus on boosting your total spend up on a monthly basis and really focusing on quality and strategic, and keep it under $1,500 and see what you can get for that and look for that linear curve. Google, the LinkedIn side of things, extremely underrated. There was one point in time, probably like 3 or 4 years ago, when at MFG Tribe, we were spending around like $6,000 a month on LinkedIn advertising just to get our feet wet into it when it first came out. And before it was an enterprise solution, you had to have a LinkedIn sales person at their company running your campaigns with you and doing it all for you, and had to spend a minimum of $100,000 a year. And then it went to self-serve, meaning that you could do all the campaigns yourself, creative and targeting and filtering and all that stuff. And we jumped in with both feet and we saw huge results. And then we started offering it as a service because it works so well in this industry, and it's underrated and it's overlooked. And a lot of times people say, oh yeah, I tried it. I spent $1,500, but I didn't get anything good from it. But you really got to know what you're doing on LinkedIn advertising, because there's a lot of different areas that you can get lost in it. So we're going to take another short, quick break to see if any other comments come in. If not, then we will close it out once we come back from this short break. Oh, that was a little blip on my part. Sorry about that, Nick. I'm like, Nick's clicking too fast on it. All right, guys. So it is Friday. It's 12:30. We will be back on Monday at noon next week and Wednesday at noon. Be sure to follow us on the company page, MFG Tribe, on LinkedIn. If you're not already, that's where we're going to be pushing out all of the marketing content. Things like this, we're talking about industrial marketing, are going to come from that page. The sales stuff will still come from my personal page. Either way, we're going to invite anybody that we're connected with, any followers, we're going to invite you to it. Be sure to go to YouTube, where we've got hundreds of videos, over, I don't even know, thousands of hours worth of content on there, where we talk about all things industrial sales, industrial marketing, and everything in between. So if you got value out of this episode, please hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Follow me on LinkedIn. Share it with people that you know. Stay tuned for our weekly content, and we will see you on the next